In this episode, I design a mission to fly by Eve and then head to Moho. Val takes a couple of tourists up to Kerbin Station, and Ensign Joe once again tries to rescue a couple of Kerbals out of the mountains. All of this and more is coming up right now. And we are off. Let's pitch over. Oh, we're going this ways east. Alright. And we'll just watch. Oh, my Apple Apps is over plenty too high. And you may have just noticed as well, we are now in 1.8.1. Yeah, I'm a version behind. I tried to upgrade to 1.9.1, but just not enough of these mods were capable of getting there. They weren't ready for that. But it seems, at least, I've just gotten started. It feels like all my mods are up and they're ready to go, including a new version of Kerbalism. The Kerbalism for 1.8 actually has a lot of vast improvements. Like right up here, for instance, I already have, there's an extra button here that is a science archive. I'm not 100% sure exactly how this works. Can I look at this particular flight? I gotta get in here and play with this. Oh, here we go. Minmus. And it tells you what you have and have not done. I'm not sure what is this then? What? Okay. There must be, it could be messed up because of it wasn't around when this happened. So this lock might be messed up. Huh? We put this away. Something to take a look at in the future. It may be messed up because this, of course, is my old game and this thing may not have been logging things correctly. I should have, if we get to, this is Minmus 3. And if we look at our data, everything here should be all stored in that front capsule. It is, so we're good. You can also see, I got so many buttons now. Let's leave it like that. You can also see we got, I've lost a lot of Kerbal Engineers back to its default, so I'll have to take some time to sort of add some stuff in there. But, got enough there for now. And of course, this thing landed on Minmus last episode and collected all of the goo and materials-based science that was available to collect within the Minmus's SOI. All I got to do now is get my samples, which are all stored safely up here, and get them all back to Kerbin. So we're just waiting till we're up to apoapsis so that we can do our circularization. There we go. That's good enough. Let's see if we can figure out this science archive here. Filter by current vessel. There we go. That's what I want to do. So materials bay. Yeah, okay. So I can see here. Materials bay tells you what situations you can get it. Oh, it tells you what its electricity costs are going to be. Tells you, oh, so this is just data about it, not whether you have collected it. And if I click here to, if I click on the current flight, doesn't seem. If I go to Minmus here, yep, it says I got 81 science units right now landed on Minmus, 64 for the materials bay only. So it's telling you what we got collected, and then this is the goo for Minmus. And personally, I think these just simply aren't active because while this thing was flying, I didn't have the most recent version of Kerbalism, so it didn't have a chance to log any of this stuff, because clearly I do have science points in research and development. So this should make keeping track of what science you have happening much, much easier while during a mission. So I think that's a pretty handy little button. I just got to get myself used to it. Alright, are we close here to our burn? We got... Oh, I just realized as well I don't have the halfway point for the burn indicator. I know that's in the settings, so I'll have to make sure to turn that on, but doesn't matter. KOS knows when to start the burn. Once this burn is done, we'll be on a path back to Kerbin, but actually I have to get to the GeoEye III, which has missed its alarm, but that's okay. So, let's see, let's delete this alarm. We have missed our node, but that's okay. We can put this on to here. because this is a mid-course correction, it really doesn't matter the exact timing of this. Good enough. And need to be in an inclination of about 77 degrees. I don't know, we'll find out when we get there, I suppose. But that is on its way. Let's again add an alarm for when this fella is going to be crossing into Minmus' sphere of influence. So we have one going in and one coming out of Minmus' sphere of influence. In the meantime, though, I do have a free bay. So, because I have 3 bays that are able to do 3 construction bays. So, I think I'd best be served by putting something in there to be built. Oh wait, let's get into the settings here. So things that are not turned on. I find this really weird, like advanced tweakables, that's like aiming the camera and also like tweaking things like fuel flow and controlling aerodynamic control surfaces. Why is that off by default? And the extended burn indicator, why would you not want that? Why shouldn't that be on? Very, very, very weird. Okay, we're going to close this, and we're going to go to the Space Center. And what I want to take a look at here, if I take a look at this alarm, I got this Kerbin to Eve-Moho window. So this is a window that I set up. I hope that I've never done this before, but the idea is I'm going to fly by Eve, get a gravity assist from Eve to help me get to Moho. And I was trying to figure out sort of the delta V requirements of this. And I think I got something figured out, and I think I got it right. It makes sense to me anyway. That, of course, isn't necessarily saying anything. So looking at my delta V budget, if we take a look at this Kerbin to Eve bit of it, we do have an ejection delta V of 2,611 meters per second. So that's to get on a trajectory going to Eve. That is more expensive than the, if I did it at the optimal time, but this isn't at the optimal time. It's timed so that I can also head on off to Moho. But if I take a look at the Eve to Moho piece of this, which won't be coming for a while because this one's not till I'm hitting Moho, there's something I want to draw attention to. So my ejection from Eve to Moho is 2,461 meters per second. But my capture from Kerbin to Eve, where is it here? The insertion delta V is 2,624 meters per second. So in my mind, and I could be getting this wrong, it will cost me 2,624 meters per second to enter an orbit around Eve. And then to leave that very same orbit and go to Moho, for Eve to Moho right here, would cost 2,461 meters per second. They're in the ballpark of about the same thing. So my thinking is, well, if I just simply don't do the capture at Eve, which I don't plan to do, I should have enough velocity to just carry on to Moho. That's my thinking. I'll budget a little bit more than that, but that's kind of what I'm hoping that actually I'll have to expend very little energy at Eve to get my trajectory going to Moho. That's what those numbers are telling me. And then at Moho, if we get back to Eve to Moho here, there's an insertion delta V of 1,176 meters per second. That's the projected capture cost at Moho. And that's, if you've ever done a capture around Moho, that's cheap for Moho because we're only falling from Eve to Moho, not all the way from Kerbin to Moho. So I think I'm going to chuck this into the mix and see if I can not build something that will be able to fly by Eve and then get a capture about Moho. So I'm budgeting in and about 4,700 meters per second, maybe close to, but let's just call it an even 5 kilometers per second for this particular mission. And I'm getting that number by taking the ejection delta V from Kerbin to Eve, which was 2,611, and then I shouldn't be spending much of anything around Eve, and then the capture at Moho was 1,176 meters per second. That adds up to 3,787 meters per second, and I'm just going to add on a general, I don't know, 25%. I think that's being pretty generous. That puts it up to 4,734. I'll call it 5 kilometers. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've never done this kind of a thing before, so if it works, it works. That would be fantastic. But what we got to do is sort of get ourselves out there doing this. So we'll start with a probe body. We shall oh, we got, this is new. Reaction wheel quality, I want it on high because this is going to be in space for a long time. I forgot to do this with the Duna probe, so hopefully that should be okay. I want to configure the science. Oh, everything here. Configure unmanned experiments. I like the way this is organized now. Can you close? Oh, and they can open and close these too. That's nice. Okay, so anyway, this is really nicely organized. Oh, and look, you can up the data capacity. I would have loved to have had that the last couple of episodes for my SCANsat multispectral analysis mapping satellites. That would have been nice to have this feature, but didn't have it at the time. Though I did end up using it here because I ended up putting on a low-res altimeter scanner from SCANsat, so I pumped up the hard drive space up to its maximum, so hopefully storage won't be an issue again. And I ended up with this. This has all the components on it that I want. And I think it has enough electrical generation, electrical storage. It's short on the Delta V front, but that should be easy to fix up. I think what I'll do is I'll probably go to a two-stage type of thing where I have one stage that's responsible for that Kerbin ejection, and then it'll be a smaller satellite that'll end up being inserted in and around Moho. But you know, I think that's going to have to be for a future episode. Hopefully in the near future you should be seeing this. Well, not this. We'll dress this up too. In the meantime, if we go to the tracking station, our hopefully soon to be upgraded tracking station, there's been a change in the radiation belt. So if we hit 1 here, this is the inner belt, but the thing to notice is how it's inclined. I really like that. That's and hopefully it does look like Kerbin Station is all well within the belt. Got to be a little careful if you start putting it into yeah, if you put this station into an inclined orbit, kind of like the International Space Station is, you're coming out of that a little bit, aren't you? Okay, that's rolled out. We'll get to you in just a second. But I like that it's inclined. The Earth's real magnetic field is inclined. If we go to a 2, there is the great big donutty one there. That's a radiation belt in between that zone there. And finally, number 3. I think this one's very much the same as it always has been, yes. But a little bit of a change in the radiation belts, but that's pretty neat. Okay, let's get to the POM. Alright, so POM 1, you've seen this one before. Contract. POM 1. Taking tourists up to Kerbin Station. They're going to give me 90,000 Kerb bucks to do that. And I needs the money, okay? And let's get out KOS. And we also have to, of course, one thing I should note, this is new launch clamps. Look at those launch clamps. I can't wait to watch them deploy. I want to really pay attention to how they deploy there. But that, I suspect, is the restock mod at its... Ooh, what I'm noticing... I have, what is going on here? There's cowlings on the bottom. I'm hoping... Okay, I'm gonna save right here. Actually, I'll just do a quick save. See what we have, because that don't look right, and well, this kind of don't look right. Okay. This is the joy of upgrading. Anyway, let's get ourselves ready. Countdown starting. I'm a little worried down here. Let's watch the launch clamps. Okay, everything seemed fine. There's just something funky with the textures there. I think it's just, but I like the way those launch clamps release. Those look nice. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on down here. Gonna aim the camera down here. Oh, it's just the cowling settings. I am not sure there's anything I can do with this outside the VAB. So that's life. I've noticed, I noticed the exhaust plumes, although it looks kind of goofy with this. The exhaust plumes on the Kodiaks have improved. And again, that is the restock mod. They hadn't caught up to the Kodiaks, I suppose, before this, because the Kodiaks were part of the, I think, Making History DLC. And they just had the stock engine plumes, but now it has the restock engine plumes. I really like them. I'll have to get into the VAB and see if I can fix those, the way those cowlings are on there, but it doesn't seem to be affecting anything, so that's good. And bearings. Oh no! Something just broke. This thing seems to have the worst luck when it comes to solar panels. I think it just broke one. Let's put the lights on. Yeah, it broke one of them. I think the solar panels here, that's the one that broke. That solar panel there, I think is too close to this fairing base. It seems to be, sometimes it does fine, like the one below here is done fine, and sometimes it takes a bit of a hit. It seems no worse for wear. Doesn't need all this solar anyway. Stage. And we are on our way to Kerbin Station. Well, not quite on our way yet, but thinking about getting on our way to Kerbin Station. No, I'm going too fast. Let's slow down. Move too fast. We got to make the morning last. There we go. Oh, there's the target icon on the Navball. Just gotta chase that down. There we are. Zero that in. Alright, so anyway, we are docked with Kerbin Station. 4 hours from now, this contract will be complete, so we'll leave these folks up here. Oh my god, look at Jebediah. Jebediah, you have definitely been up here too long. Definitely looking a little shaggy. You're sporting the COVID cut. I like Jebediah being the default texture, so I'll have to get in and fix him up. And I gotta get back out to Minmus 3, which has now left Minmus' sphere of influence. I need to set up an alarm to warn me when it's getting close to Kerbin's atmosphere. Okie dokie, there we go. So, yeah, that's a ways away. Alright, I guess we are going back. What's this? Contract complete. What's this contract? Do a supply run to Kerbin Station. Oh, I do have a whole mission to do that. Oh, that's funny. They must have had like a little bit. Yeah, the food that was on the Palm 1 counts as supply. Freeze-dried bacon. Oh, my VTOL's almost ready. Okay, my VTOL's going to be ready in 9 minutes. And I also have that airliner. That's still 9 days away. Let's go here. Coast Guard. Mountain Rescue. Expires in 58 minutes. Oh, I think I gotta do it. I think I got to do it. Now, once accepted, I got a day to do the mission, which gives me time to get to sunrise. I want to do this during the day. But during that interim, well, my tourists are ready to come back down. They have now been up for the requisite 4 hours, so all I got to do to complete this contract is get them safely back down to the surface, which of course, at this point in this game, is pretty routine. And then once that is completed, well, that's 90,000 Kerb bucks. 90,000 Kerb bucks, I think that'll be enough for me to start that tracking station in the upgrading process. Start construction on it. I don't know how long that's going to take. It should be under tech here. It's going to take 11.5 days, but then we will have a Tier 3 tracking station, and my probe on its way out to Duna won't get lost. All right, I wanted to get to Sunrise for a very special mission. All right, so here we are. I got the contract here all set. Finally, after much complaining, this is the VTOL. You saw this last episode doing something which it wasn't supposed to do, which was land in the water. But now it is doing something that it should be doing, which is what it's designed for, rescuing climbers up here in the mountains. And I know these are approximate waypoints. They're not actually there. I know they're on these peaks because I've done one of these before. And flying, we have Ensign Joe Kerman, also looking rather scruffy. You know, I'm pretty convinced this is a female texture being forced upon him, because if I look at that eyebrow, it's just not in the right place. But whatever. One thing I think, and this is with Lieutenant Dan too, both Ensign Joe and Lieutenant Dan are my rescue officers, and they tend to disappear every once in a while from my roster. And actually, I think that's what's supposed to happen. With Lieutenant Dan, I noticed he had disappeared, and then he respawns when I pick up one of these contracts. Except something weird happened with Lieutenant Dan. I was able to keep him for a while. I actually had him up at Kerbin Station for a while. I think that's actually the exception. I don't think Ensign Joe and Lieutenant Dan are supposed to join the roster. Who is supposed to join the roster are Haldis Kerman and Kerbal Kerman, who are these folks up here that we've got to rescue. Okay, let's get started with this. So I need my KOS script. Alright, so we got our hover script aboard. Let's get down here, put on SAS. Let's engage those engines. Pretty good. And let's run our hover script. Now, what the hover script does is it attaches a variety of things to action groups. So, for instance, action group number 9 puts it into hover mode, which means that it adjusts the engines so that the thrust-to-weight ratio is exactly 1. And it even compensates, or it's close to 1 as it's going to get. And it even compensates for the thinness of the air. It'll compensate for the attitude of the ship. As I pitch around, it will adjust the thrust so that the vertical part is always got a thrust-to-weight ratio of 1, so that's the hover mode. 10 will kill the throttle, 6 increases the throttle by 5%, 5 decreases the throttle by 5%, and 1 ends the program. So let's get this started. So we will hit a 9. There we go. So now we're in hover mode. You can see that the throttle has gone up. And then I'm also going to increase throttle 10% so that this will get hopefully going up in an upward direction. Because one of the challenging things when using jet engines in this way is that they have a we are lifting off here. Let's put this on here. There we go. Just go straight up for a little while, and then we can pitch forward. We can retract our landing gear. And again, it's increasing throttle as I pitch forward. Let's decrease our rate of going up, and we're off going towards our climbers over this way. Now, one of the things I always find challenging when it comes to these jet engines is there is this lag. There's this time for it to spool up and spool down, and that means there's a lag between when you increase throttle and when you actually get the increased thrust coming out, and that makes it really, really hard, at least for me, to get, whoops, wrong button there, going this way. There we go. One of the things that's funny too is the roll of pitch and yaw are the other way around because of the orientation of the Navball, so that kind of messes me up a little bit. Anyway, keep going forward. Where was I at? Oh yeah, it's that lag of input, that feedback lag that I find really challenging. Like, where exactly should I put this throttle if I want to just go up at a slow rate of acceleration? And what's my hover mode and all that kind of stuff, and this script is here to really kind of help me with all of that. And oh, I should open up Waypoint Manager here. Get a waypoint set up. Come it, there accelerate. Summit search. Okay, so there's this waypoint out in the middle of all this. It's 41 kilometers away. We'll get there. Oh, I should mention as well, I've used this hover script a few times. I do have some videos where I go into the development of this script and into the code of it in some detail. I'll drop them up here, links to them up here in the information part of it if you're interested in that. But I'm not going to go over the code here. It's actually pretty old code. I've had it for quite some time. And one thing I do have to pay very close attention to is this vertical speed indicator. I don't think my calculations for the pitch is 100%. I'm not sure because I noticed that I'm below a thrust to weight of 1. Oh, there we go. That's negative. But a thrust to weight of 0.95 seems to accelerate upwards. There it is now. It's getting less negative. It's accelerating upwards. And a thrust to weight ratio of 0.9 seems to have it accelerating downwards. So clearly this number's not 100%. Pitched forward, maybe it's not. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to get too stressed about that kind of thing. It's a little. I got to watch this more than this because this goes up and down based upon the terrain that's below me. So I'd like to keep relatively close to this this height. Keep this pretty close to 0 to vertical speed. And I know these waypoints look like they're in funny places. You can see now we're going to Kerbery first. But once you get close in, they spawn, and this one is right on the top of this peak. I mean, the first time I ever did one of these missions, I really found that rather annoying. I mean, to me, that seems sort of silly. I mean, if you're going to replace those orbital rescue contracts, you should replace them with something that's not crazy more difficult. You know, I thought they'd be in here somewhere, like a place that seems rather sane, not right on this peak. There is a bit of a flat spot on top of that peak where they want you, where you can land. And similarly, this one is on top of this peak right there. And needless to say, I have quick saved. So if this goes badly, I can try again. I'm going to give myself that permission for sure, because this is kind of a ridiculous mission, quite honestly. Need that waypoint to move. There he is, he just moved, okay. So I got to get myself somewhere onto this area up here. Start slowing down. Just pitching back to bring down that horizontal velocity, because pretty soon I want to be coming straight down. Do want to come down, but not too fast. Slow, slow, slow. Gotta get myself going straight down. Come on. Straight down. I need to keep that retrograde icon right towards the top of the Navball. I'm so nervous. Chasing around that retrograde icon. I'm also got to watch my vertical speed. My hands are literally shaking while I'm doing this, which of course doesn't help. Okay, I'm going up. Okay, a sec, I gotta pause. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, it was when I started up again that I realized with everything else I was paying attention to, one of the things I wasn't paying attention to was exactly where I was coming down. Where we are? Oh, we are on some sort of crazy slope. Oh my God! Look where we are. Okay. So yeah, I got. Okay, let's F9 this thing. Okay, we're back. The issue that I have, let's just level off here, is that the script isn't on when you come back to the save. So we got to run the hover AG. But then as soon as it runs, this isn't gonna. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. So as soon as this runs, get off 9 6 6 6 6 6. As soon as we start it running, okay, that worked out all right. 9 again. Okay. As soon as you start it running, it goes back to the state that the engines turn off, I guess is just the end result of all that. And the reason why I was getting so frickin' nervous before was because before I had quick save pretty close to my location. That seemed like a reasonable thing to do. And in the amount of time that it took me to kind of get that all set up again, yeah, I was crashing into the mountain. So this seemed to work. This makes me feel better. This really does actually make me feel quite a bit better. So hopefully I can do this without being so nervous now. I literally, while I was paused there, and my hands were all shaking, which had no small part in why that didn't go so well. I literally got up, took a shot of whiskey, try and get my nerves to come down. And then I went out and did some things. I recently installed a rain barrel, and it's rained for the first. Raining right now, and this is the first time it's rained since I installed the rain barrel. So I went out to see how my rain barrel is doing. It's almost full. And yeah. So hopefully I'll be in a little bit of a better state. Now we got things under some control. Fun as I'm sure this is for you to watch me fumble with these, I'm really questioning the amount of work to rescue 2 Kerbals. It's kind of questionable when you can just hire them. And now that my tracking station is on the road, I spent the money at least to upgrade that tracking station. Money shouldn't be so. There's no immediate big costs coming up. So I think this might be the last time I do this. Honestly, my nerves just can't put up with this anymore. But I'm determined. I'm determined to get this one done. Again, we are. Let's actually start slowing down now. The horizontal part of this. Really take our time. Well, do our best. I think we need to get more upsies. Come on, more upsies. More upsies. There we go. Unclear that. Okay, let's again. Use this. Slow down. Okay, I can see that retrograde vector. I need to get over the cliff face here. Okay, here we go. Use throttle, going up. I don't want to go up. Use throttle again. Stick around where that Kerbal is. Oh, shoot. No bad words. Oh, for goodness sakes. No, 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 come back. I've lost it here. I gotta get back. More thrust. What the heck? That was close. And of course, I'm looking at this backwards. Don't stop doing that. Well, that didn't go so well. Okay, I'm not shaking. That's a good thing. Despite how scary that one got, I'm not shaking. That's a good thing. I have no question that my nervousness... Now that I did that recover and we're kind of back, I feel a little better. That or the whiskey. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, when you do the really heavy pitching maneuvers, you pitch over very, very hard. The engines just can't react fast enough to adjust the thrust, and you end up dropping. So I gotta try and not pitch so hard over. Not sure how impressed this is as a rescue vehicle. I'm not sure how much confidence this... I can actually see him. Okay, let's try this again. Of course, I'm using up fuel with all of this nonsense too, which doesn't help. Stop. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh my goodness. Okay, engines are off. We are actually sitting here. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was insane. Okay, so let's open this up. Look how close we are. Oh my gosh. Look at that. He's really impressed. So this is Kerbal. Oh, sorry. She is really impressed. And Kerbal is an engineer! I got an engineer! I got an engineer! I'm so excited to have an engineer! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, board. Alright, and close this up. Whew, okay. Clearly, this is a good opportunity for a quick save. No, actually, I've quick saved on the top. Look where we are. Like, is this berserk or what? It's just... Oh, that's like... Come on. People who make giving aircraft purpose, I'm sure, are having a great giggle over these kind of things. But really, can we not have made this a little bit easier? Okay. Kerbal's aboard. Quick save again. I gotta be a little careful, because up here, textures are very, very weird. I know the last time I did this, I quick saved up here, I went back, there was a texture bump, the thing exploded, and that was the end of that. Okay. So, I do need to do a 180 to get this pointed the right way once we've lifted off. But there is Haldus. Okay. And I know he looks like he's in the air, but he ends up being down here. Alright, so we're going to go hover. And there. Taken off. Oh, I pitched the wrong way. It's because I was looking at the front of the vessel. Okay, okay. Oh, well, I guess I gotta try reverting here. Though I'm somewhat nervous about this. See what I mean? We'll try that one more time, but as you can say, let's see if we can maybe do it and then give full thrust right away. So F9 and just be, I'm gonna spam that Z button. Spam and Z. Spam and Z. Well, we got 2 engines. Oh, that one still got thrust. It was zooming about. Alright, I'm gonna call this. I hate to break this to all of your VTOL fans. This is it. I'm calling this one. I'm just going to hit the recover button. And you know what? I might even give myself this contract. I'm so mad at this. I was on the road to doing this. I don't care. I was starting to get the hang of this thing. It might have taken me a couple of more restarts, but I think it would have happened. So we're going to rescue Kerbal. And I honestly think actually, I don't know if I can get Huldis. I don't think he's spawned. But you know what? That's fine. I don't care. Alright, so we got that. We recover this. We got Kerbal ready for, well, they're not ready. They get their week off. Ensign Joe's going to be gone. But I did pick up another engineer, which I desperately am in need of. I am pretty sure. Oh, we got debris here. But can I recover him? Screw it. I am going to recover him. I don't care. I am so mad at you giving aircraft purpose. I'm going to recover you, and I'm not going to care. So what do you think about them apples? Huldis is ready for his next assignment. Huldis is a scientist. That's it. I'm done. I got an engineer. I got a scientist. That gets me up to 3 engineers. I got 3 scientists. I'm going to call it a win. All my other scientists and engineers are going to be gotten the old-fashioned way from here on in. So I am sorry for all of you VTOL fans. I've done the best I can. I have reached the absolute limit of my piloting skills. And with that, I'm going to thank you for watching and hope to see you again next time.